Mike, what is this thing?
Apparently, it's the cover art for an old Amiga game called Fish, an extraordinary tale in illustrated interactive fiction.
I understand you flubbing those words because it is a wave.
Yeah.
Some of the worst typography I've ever seen.
Yes,
But,
absolutely.
Like, that's like low on the list of like things that are wholly upsetting about this cover.
This looks a lot like the cover to a Spanish workbook for like 5th graders.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like the text up top, at least.
Right.
I can tell you it's
got
not
the,
for 5th graders, though. It's
No,
not
no,
for
no.
5th graders because of the massive blunt he's sporting.
You
See,
mean
but-
the conch shell, or the conch shell
Yeah.
blunt.
Yeah, it's a shell, because this is clearly a Salvador Dali piece, which they're using to educate people on the culture while teaching them the language.
By what? Magnetic Scrolls is the name of the company?
Oh, I thought it was Rainbird. I don't
Rainbird
know.
is the publisher. It
I
says
see-
by Magnetic Scrolls, though.
I see both of those on there. Please tell me at least one of them is still around.
I hope so. Also, notice how there's 5 different types of font on this.
Yeah.
Also, it is fish with an exclamation point, despite the fact that there is no exclamation point on the cover.
There's also no explanation point because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
The game is a
Amiga was a
standard.
fucked up thing.
The game is a standard text adventure with static graphics in some versions.
What about other versions?
I can tell you that Magnetic Scrolls was shut down in 1990. So
No.
And I can tell you that Googling fish with an exclamation point yields not a lot of relevant results.
Magnetic Scrolls was a British video game developer active between 1984 and 1990, a pioneer of audio-visually elaborate text adventure games.
Careful, you're gonna get Zenimax on your case if you keep using that word scrolls.
Oh, who did the art, though? That's the thing I want to know so bad. Because it's amazing. Okay.
Who's the genius behind this?
Welcome to the Bancast. I'm your host, Fred. With me, Levi Sutherland.
Hello.
And Michael Deviar.
Hiya.
I should have probably mentioned, so if you are like subscribed on iTunes and you didn't see the artwork that we were just talking about at length, you can find it at thebandcast.com or find it on YouTube at the episode link, because for sure we're using that artwork. Like, permission or no, and God knows they're not around anymore.
Yeah, who is going to be available to sue us? Did anybody pick up the fish exclamation mark property?
How
license?
much do we have to do, or do we have to make to do the gritty reboot of Fish?
I was just about to say, like, how much do those rights cost?
Can't be much.
Imagine underwater Max Payne. And I think that's close to what I would probably do with that franchise.
Underwater
Yeah.
Max Payne is actually more what I would do with the Echo the Dolphin franchise if I were to reboot that, but also Aliens and Geiger.
That's when his son gets put into a tuna can.
Echo
and he-
Jr. That was actually the plot of Echo Jr. for the Game Gear, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Guys, how are you doing today? I always ask that question, then there's always a pause afterwards, because I recognize that I should be asking one of you how you're doing, because
Yeah,
neither of you knew exactly how to respond to that.
I always
Yeah.
try to be polite and wait for Mike to go.
And I'm generally trying to do the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
Levi, you first. How are you?
Okay. I'm fantastic.
This is your last episode for a little while, right?
For 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, because you're going,
I'm going to New Zealand.
across the pond, as they say.
The other pond, but yeah, close enough. Yeah, if you listened to last week's episode and you heard that I was going to be pupating into a dog, I don't know, like, that we gave a lot of explanation to that, because that didn't make any sense whatsoever.
I had all of the context and it still didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it didn't. So that's where I'll be going. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Is
So.
New Zealand, like, where? So you're going to New Zealand to pupate into a dog, is what you're saying?
I don't think we'll see if it happens
Where
along the
did
way.
that even come from?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think Mike just asked like that I was going to be like undergoing metamorphosis, and I just played along. So
And then dog. Yeah. All right.
yeah, and then dog. But we're gonna be hitting up both islands, and we're doing kind of a lot of stuff in 2 weeks. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty exciting. Like we're covering basically all the major points that we could think of.
Awesome.
Including like all the Lord of the Rings shit.
Oh yeah, Hobbiton tour. Yeah. There's a few things like packaged into that are really cool. Shire's Rest Cafe,
Nice.
Prancing Pony, all that kind of thing.
You say Frantic Pony?
Prancing Pony.
Same thing.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Do you want to say how you guys are able to do this trip? Because that's crazy enough in and of itself.
Yeah. So my girlfriend. So apparently they opened up a direct flight. Air New Zealand did from Houston, where I live, to Auckland, New Zealand, and they were holding this contest to win tickets. It was sort of like a scavenger hunt kind of thing. Meryl did not win the scavenger hunt, but they're like, "Oh, you did so well. Like you had to bring a belt buckle with you. Like bring the coolest Texas size belt buckle and win a free trip." So they're like, "Oh, you did really great. Your belt buckle was really cool. Just enter the Instagram contest and see what happens." And so she took a picture of herself, and then on my doorstep she realized they messaged her and she won. So
That's insane.
she just won 2 free tickets to New Zealand. So
Well,
That's awesome.
that's so cool,
Yeah.
man. I'm excited for you guys. I think it'll be a really awesome trip.
I think it'll be really cool too. What about you, Mike? How you doing?
My week was like super boring outside of my weekly D&D game. So like I really don't have shit to report. I worked, played some video games.
I want to hear about this weekly D&D game. I did not know you were involved in an active game.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, me, some friends, and my girlfriend Caroline, I had not run a game in like 6 years. So for me, it was something that kind of just felt like missing from my life since it's been such a big part of it. And a bunch of them started watching the show Critical Role, and so they were all like, "Oh, we should do it. Oh, we should do it. Oh, we should do it." And finally, after like months of doing the little tickling the balls and doing the dance around it,
Buying the books and creating a character sheet and stuff like that.
like
Yeah.
I've had the books for years.
Right.
So I finally was just like, okay, fuck it. Like, you guys buy dice, come over to my apartment. We will, run through character generation and we will do a game. And so, we've been doing that for the past couple weeks. We try to play every Friday. This week we're meeting this Sunday because everyone's got prior plans. But, yeah. So we've been doing that, and it's actually been a lot of fun. Like, having been away from it for so long, and then getting back into the saddle with a bunch of people who are primarily like fresh to the game and fresh to really the idea of like tabletop role playing. Since outside of me, I think only 2 of the 6-person party has ever played another tabletop game before. So it's really neat to see this from like that perspective and really see what it's like for new players again, since I've been playing since I was like 10. So I have completely forgotten what that's like.
So you're going to be the one who's DMing then?
Yeah. I'm doing the DMing thing just because like out of the almost 2 decades I've played D&D, I can count the amount of times I was a player on one hand.
Yeah.
So it's just where I kind of just naturally sit. And so when they're like, "Well, who's going to run the game?" I was like, "Fuck it. I've got a binder full of stories and shit. Let's go."
Yeah, as a passionate creator of tales, like it makes sense that you would be the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm running them through that, and they're a ragtag bunch of people who are, first-time players, and so as such have no idea what they're doing. But it's been a lot of fun just all around, so I'm super glad to be doing that again.
Are you particularly strict with the rules?
Contextually, it really depends on the situation. I try to do what best serves the narrative, or ultimately what would be more fun. So like, if the situation calls for like the players to be scaling a mountain and it's supposed to be like really brutal and super fucking rough, I kind of get a little bit stricter with the climbing mechanics in a game, because that way it builds the tension of the fact that like they might not make it over this fucking mountain.
Right.
By that same token, if someone's like, "Hey, I want to use my haste spell to run up against a wall and do like a spinning aerial fucking like somersault down slash to cut this monster in half," I'm like, "Yeah, man, fuck it, go."
So awarding player creativity while at the same time like being adherent to the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Just because like the one thing I really enjoy about tabletop games, and the one thing I think a lot of newer systems have kind of forgotten, is that like the actions that players take should have real consequences. So I like seeing those consequences play out for good or worse. Like if they do something amazing and wonderful and they get, buku rewards for it, I love seeing the looks on their faces when they're like, hell yeah, we did this thing and we got super rewarded for it. But, I've actually got a specific example. If they're in like the den of this thieves guild and they keep touching all the artifacts, yeah, someone's going to roll up and fucking rearrange your face with their fist.
Right.
Because you're touching shit you're not supposed to be touching. So I like that interplay of the players interacting with the world and sort of, building the narrative organically that way. But yeah, man, tabletop role-playing games are fucking rad. And if you've got a bunch of friends online, it's worth checking out.
I need to get back into it.
I need to get some friends.
Yeah.
And like, it's not that hard because one of our players is always Skypes in from fucking Seattle. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, and like it's always a little bit weird when her connection cuts out, but like it's stable otherwise. So it's it's worked out. So like even if you have to play online, it's viable.
Do you just pretend the character has narcolepsy?
That's pretty good.
Like we need to find a general workaround, especially because her character is like the primary tank of the group. So, but usually it's just, hey, like what I missed, and I'll do like a quick recap for her. Because usually it's only for like a couple seconds. Like we've never had like a full blown like call dropped internet dead situation.
I remember in Drunks and Dragons they had one player on vacation, so they worked it into the story that there was an evil shaman that was like petrifying people, and it petrified the character as soon as they walked into town. I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, so that's been the bulk of what my free time has been outside of like writing and playing games. But yeah, I'll I guess stop hijacking this thing and turning it into a D&D podcast. What have you been up to, Fred?
I mean, I was just for one, I was really enjoying everything you're talking about.
Oh
No, you know what? My week, and it hasn't even been a week. It's only been since Thursday, right? It has been okay, but so my water got shut off while they were fixing the hot water heater for our building. It got shut off like right before our last recording session, and they still haven't fixed it. So it's actually been 5 days without hot water, and we actually didn't have water at all for 3 days.
Oof.
So
oh my god.
I'm kind of pissed off. I'm in a constant state of not very happy with the situation.
Yeah, like if you just don't mind my asking, what the hell did you guys do when you needed like, that H2O?
So for showering, we kind of just had to go without for the most part, which is a bummer, which is a big, disgusting bummer. I took the coldest shower I've ever taken in my life because it's still fairly cool here. And so the pipes in the ground are still pretty cold. So the water is super not warm.
Yeah.
And that has been a bummer. As far as going potty, so I have a water cooler at home. So I've been literally flushing like purified drinking water down the toilet, and I feel like an asshole doing it, but it is very much a necessary evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been like my cross to bear. I've been building Gundams, been angry about that, and shopping for houses, although I certainly don't have the money together for getting one. We're working on the loan and down payment and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking so much about, the future and the world of tomorrow. Is that a pretty good transition to the challenge?
That was real good.
Cool.
Yeah.
You do this thing where you're always like, where someone's always super clever, including yourself with segues, and then you just fucking blow it.
The issue is that
It's
none
like-
of you picked up the ball and ran with it.
Because you didn't even wait. You were
I
like
totally
a world of
fucking waited. Anyway,
It was sort of like a hey guys, did you get it tone?
Yeah.
so
but
we
we
got a
did get
challenge
it.
last week
And we did watch it.
from Kilroy. Don Hertzfeld's latest, I'm not sure if it's his latest, but it's one of his latest. It's The World of Tomorrow, which is, I don't know, which one of you wants to explain what it is?
I guess I could go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a young girl named Emily who answers a futuristic type phone call and receives a phone call from the future from the third generation clone of herself, who then takes her to the future, and they sort of go on an adventure of sorts.
Yeah, I think that's fairly descriptive.
That's the overarching story. I didn't want to spoil too much.
Yeah,
even though we're about
it is
to.
only 16. No, I don't think we are, for the most part. It's only 16 minutes long. Like, you've been listening to this podcast today about as much time as it would take to finish the entire movie.
We're right at about 16.
Yeah.
And there's not really a narrative to spoil. Like, the point of the film is more existential than anything else.
Absolutely. Which is kind of the case for all Don Hertzfeld films.
Yes, absolutely.
How did you guys enjoy it? Fred?
Fuck it, I'll go. I don't give a shit. I did not like this film.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. It was my least favorite Don Hertzfeld film.
Yeah, for the
I would
first
agree
time.
with that.
Yeah, for the first time, I kind of felt like his animation techniques are showing their age, because everything in there to me just looked like something I would see on fucking Newgrounds. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. If he was purposely going for more of a retro Flash style animation look, but
I think the issue with it is that it looked very clean, which is very much not how his animation has been in the past. And I think maybe the cleanliness comes from the fact that it's like trying to tell about the future, but I don't want to give it that much credit.
Yeah, that part just did not work for me. And so just seeing a lot of really, really poor animation techniques frustrated me, because I guess I just expect more from him, and from the gritty tactile nature that his stuff usually has. And then on top of that, his stuff is always sort of esoteric and, kind of weird, but for the first time it felt like he's just kind of fallen up his own ass. And I don't even know if it's intentional, because it seems like a very earnest message about living your life and getting out there and doing things and broadening your world perspective and not being ruled by things. But it's presented in this manner that to me just came off as really preachy and kind of shitty and in a weird way, discounting the real issues that come with depression and stuff like that. And yeah, I just, at the end of watching it, because I watched it twice. I watched it a couple days ago, and then I watched it about an hour and a half ago. And both times by the end of it, I was just sort of you spent 16 minutes to say nothing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that point, and all of your points, actually. But I came away from it still very happy with the 16 minutes that I spent with it. I found it hilarious and wonderfully depressing at all the right times. I don't know. It very much was just 16 minutes inside the joking mind of Don Hertzfeld.
Yeah. Going back to the visuals, I think there was a lot. You remember in Rejected, where it was papers flying everywhere, and it looks like the cartoons are tearing holes in themselves and stuff like that. I very much appreciated that aesthetic for what it was, and in this one it was very clean. I think the thing about the Vimeo versus Netflix sort of thing, the way that it was encoded, I don't know where that would have come in except for the memory art gallery.
That
was
and
sort of a new thing that he was doing.
There was a thing with a lot of lattices and stuff and grids and things, that the compression on that, and also the stark color contrast, especially with the reds, that causes I don't know, it goes crazy when you try to compress reds, especially rich bright reds. So I think that was where that came in.
Toward the end, there was an entire red screen, so I see how that could play out. I don't know. I felt like the animation in the memory art gallery was really cool, but the rest of it suffered because of that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
The rest of it was so plain in comparison that I don't know. It was boring.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I kind of felt, now that being said, because I'm totally ragging on this film, I did find the kind of the hopeful exuberance of the child Emily absolutely charming.
The voice work on that was really good.
Yeah, very charming, very well presented. In that I really did enjoy it, but I never felt so bored in watching something so short. And I think that was ultimately the thing, is that you can sort of tell, at least for me, I kind of found where the point was going like 5 minutes in, and then it did nothing to sort of subvert my expectations, which I guess is something I'm taking for granted, since so many of his other works do sort of subvert expectation at some point. So I don't know. I want to, because like it sucks because I really want to like this more than I do, and I feel like I'm just ragging on it.
I would say one of the really big things with this one was it had a happy ending. And if you've seen any of his other stuff, it never has a happy ending. Mm-hmm. Which, I don't know, I thought that was interesting.
How so?
Well, it seems like for a moment that Emily is being dropped into the wilderness, and then it all just kind of works out.
I sort of like put my hand on my chest during that moment, and I was just like, oh no.
Exactly. Right? And that would have totally been a Don Hertzfeld moment. And then like,
yeah,
I don't know, you like had a conscience or something at the end, and then like everything worked out.
When you look at the overarching story, like I will go into a little bit of spoilers here, like Emily 3 and like her dead husband and the entire, not super filthy rich population of the earth died. Like,
yeah,
I know that's, it's a little bit detached and it's not a happy ending. So I see what you're saying with like small Emily just, sort of goes back to being a kid.
Wait, how did they die? What do you mean? Just you mean in the course of like history? Yes.
Yeah, in the future, there was a meteor crashing into the earth.
Yes, but just in the narrative of the movie, like the last moment in the movie is a happy ending where everything was fine.
That's true.
Yeah, but I find that
the fact that things resolved is what I was surprised by.
Okay.
That's fair, yeah. But I was going to say, because like the inevitability is that like that little girl is still going to grow up to become that detached, lonesome, sort of devoid of emotion woman that is just going to...
But then again, like at the end of all time, like the heat death will consume the universe and then all will be unto nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, like, yes, every movie has a bad ending when you think that far in the future.
Right, but that's the point I'm getting to, is that the movie thought that far into the future.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Like the movie clearly states that like Emily 3 is going to die in the horrible meteor death of Earth, and that is the fate awaiting that little girl that wants to show off her toy trucks.
That was so funny. Like, I loved it. It was not as good as It's a Beautiful Day, or It's Such a Beautiful Day, and like it was nowhere near as good as Rejected, but like, I don't know. It won a lot of awards, and I think pretty much all of them except for maybe Best Animation, like it deserved every single one of those.
I liked it. It was not it's my least favorite Don Hertzfeld production, so.
Have you seen the one with the balloons?
I don't think I've seen that one, no.
Billy something? Billy and his balloon or something?
Yeah, where the balloons kind of like just start just beating children. And here's the thing. No, it's
Billy's
not.
Balloon.
Billy's balloon. Yeah, it's about a boy and his balloon, and the balloon, like, it's a very abusive relationship.
Oh.
It's
all right.
It's kind of amazing. I'm very excited. I got the Blu-ray that was released as part of the Kickstarter, and it's got like a bunch of his old stuff, like remastered from all the 35mm prints and stuff. So I'm gonna fucking binge watch those at some point. But yeah, so we've got no challenge for next week because we're taking a break for Levi to go and have a wonderful time in New Zealand. That's where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't stop the podcast on my account.
No, definitely not. But we're not doing that challenge. So in fact, send us some anime while Levi's gone.
This is the time. Pile it on.
Send us like a very good, like, and here's the thing, we get some recommendations from time to time, and I know you guys think you're just really funny, but send us something good, something that you think is very good that people haven't seen and maybe should be talked about. Please stop sending us like monster girl anime porn, please. I mean, I don't know if Mike wants that stuff. You can send it to him.
No, like straight up, if you're going to send an anime recommendation, look into your soul. Like, look deep into your soul, where I'm residing with my superior anime taste, and ask your soul if I will enjoy it. If it says it's shit, don't send it in. Because, like, where Levi is just done with it, I'm done being nice about it. I'm just going to call shit, and I'm going to call your taste shit.
It's true. And we might have some guests on, and that might run concurrently with the challenges, but we'll see how that works.
That'll be non-canonical. You cannot count that as part of the verse.
It'll be Banverse 2.0
Yeah.
on Earth 13.
Crisis on Infinite Challenges.
Yeah,
I actually like that.
I do too. We kind of busted through our entire load last week with the community questions, so we got nothing in the last 4 days.
Oh, man.
It's been, 4 days, so
Yeah.
sorry.
You guys playing any video games?
I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 2. That game's fucking great. Like, holy shit. I forgot how good that game is. It is like one of the best games ever. Yeah, if you want some good old Western RPG, Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition on PC. That's some good shit right there.
Or on iPad, right? I think they put it on iPad.
I think it is. Yeah. I think both the enhanced editions are available on iPad, and since they're like the old Infinity Engine style games, like the first two Fallouts and Planescape Torment and stuff like that, they would control fairly well via a touchscreen.
I found a brand new copy of Planescape Torment the other day while I was at a flea market. I was kind of like, I could buy this, but I really shouldn't because it's just a big ass PC box and it's on good old games and shit. So
yeah, I mean, it'd be neat just to have the box. Like that game is fucking brilliant too. But yeah, like, man, that game's fucking good. And it's got a weird, like, star-studded voice cast. Like, Jim Cummings and the guy who played General Sark and Tron are both in it. So
It says it's compatible with my phone, so that might be my entire flight to New Zealand.
maybe.
It's Baldur's Gate 2.
I didn't know it was
like,
on Android. That is good.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if that flight's long enough to beat that game.
Oh, no. It's 14 hours, so maybe there and back.
Yeah.
I've played 10 Billion Wives. I'm almost done with it. It's the
My
only video.
gosh.
It's the only video game I've played in the last 4 days, and
Not even Destiny.
no, my consoles aren't hooked up right now. I built a whole streaming setup now, like a dedicated computer for streaming and all that, and I just haven't had the time to finish setting up the rest of it. Like, it's ready to go. I can hit click, or I can hit record whenever I've got a console hooked up to it. But right now, it's been a busy 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I did this week? I closed my cookie clicker tab.
I'm very proud of you.
Whoa.
Yeah, I just couldn't take it anymore. My computer was on probably 24 hours a day for like 3 weeks there.
Oh boy.
And it was just like, the monitor would go off every minute, and I would just leave it. I would just let it sit.
How many times did you prestige?
Oh Jesus, you can prestige in that game?
0.
God, you didn't even play the game then. Christ, what are you even doing?
I have 1,000 heavenly chips waiting for me if I ever go back, so.
Don't go back. I will say this. I did marry all the wives. I am just trying to unlock all of the portraits now.
I mean, technically, if they're wives, then yes, you did marry them.
What? Yes.
It's not called 10 billion girlfriends.
This is true. No, I mean, like, I unlocked every single kind of wife there is in that game.
Okay.
So, I got the wife of wives. I have to stop playing this game forever. I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, I'm not familiar with that, and I just don't know how to respond. Like, I'm sure Kate's jealous. It's just, it's a big mess.
She did say, "What are you doing over there, pleasing all your other wives?" And I was like, "Oh, I do feel not good now." And speaking of train wrecks, I saw Batman v Superman.
Ooh. I'm gonna see it probably later this week, but what am I in for?
It's an okay movie.
Yeah, I've kind of been hearing that, like, there's a lot of good ideas, and then the film just fails to capitalize on all of them.
Ben Affleck is my second favorite Batman.
I heard he was like the bright
though?
spot in the movie.
I think Christian Bale, but not
all
because...
right.
Hold on. No,
cringes and
hold
says,
on, hold on.
"Okay."
Because I liked the movies that he was in. I guess I didn't really like him.
Okay, no, that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
Whereas-
Nolan Batman movies are the best. Absolutely.
Whereas, like,
Especially Dark Knight.
Ben Affleck is actually just kind of a good Batman in a bad Batman movie. Which, by the way, get no misconceptions. This is a Batman movie. Like, Superman's in it,
duh.
but like, and this might be a sequel to a Superman movie, but it is a fucking Batman film.
I mean, his name comes first in the title.
I mean, I'm sure that that's only because, like, taxonomy and stuff. Just try to get that higher up listing on everything.
SEO. Yeah.
So it's okay. It's obviously like the 20 years later Batman. It's very much the Dark Knight Returns storyline, but it's also like the All-Star Superman storyline. And I don't know.
Okay, wait, like the comic written by Grant Morrison about Superman's last days while he's trying to be like the best person ever.
It's also the death of Superman, and Doomsday's in it. And like, listen, they did a lot of things very quickly. And as I was sitting there watching this movie, I was thinking to myself, for the number of things that they're trying to cram into this, like, the pacing is really good. And then immediately after I thought that to myself, there was a slow motion scene of Bruce Wayne once again visiting his parents, like the parents' grave. And like,
I was just about to ask.
Walking. Oh yeah. The movie does start again telling the story of Batman, Batman's origin. But like...
God!
Oh no, like... As upset as you can be that they did it, the way they did it is so much worse.
Oh no. Okay, don't tell me because now I want to see it.
I won't.
But like, I guess for me, it's like the same thing with like Spider-Man. Like, how the fuck many times do I have to watch the Waynes and Uncle Ben die? Like everyone that's gonna go see these films knows. Like it's so ingrained in the global social consciousness that like I don't give a fuck.
Without getting into any spoilers, obviously Wonder Woman is in the movie. She's on the posters and all that. I don't know that much about Wonder Woman's character, and I have relearned the story of Superman and Batman in this film, and I still don't know jack shit about Wonder Woman, who was by and far probably the most interesting character in that movie. There were other characters I got to see origin stories of that I didn't even think would be in this film. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I mean, and there's apparently cut content with more origin stories for more characters.
Also, poor Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I fucking saw that article and I was like, why?
What happened to Jimmy Olsen?
There's a dude early in the movie that gets fucking shot in the face without much of any context. And if you watch the R-rated director's cut, he introduces himself at one point as Jimmy Olsen. And Zack Snyder had him killed because he doesn't really like him.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's just like, all right, great.
Now, Mike, have you seen Man of Steel?
I did, and
okay.
It's a film that I've got a very conflicted relationship with because
I think it's really terrible, except I really liked being able to see Krypton.
Exactly. I think it's a film with a lot of great ideas executed very poorly.
That's Batman v Superman, by the way. That is this film.
Well, which is literally all I could have said was I wanted to enjoy it more, but it's a Zack Snyder film.
Yeah.
Like, why are we hedging our bets on the guy that made fucking Sucker Punch?
It is the worst lit movie I've ever seen as well. Like, you can't see shit in any scene.
I'm not surprised. Like, he's such a bad director, and I don't get why Warner and other companies keep letting him do shit. Like, you know what? No, I do. It's because it's the fucking Michael Bay effect, and that even though his movies are trash garbage and fucking bullshit,
they sell.
Yeah, they sell, and it's really frustrating because, like, I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I really do. I think out of like all the actors that have played Superman, he's like almost better than Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a good number 2. I think Reeves is probably number 1 though.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel really frustrated that he's being shackled playing this like dour, mean-spirited, like frustratingly disconnected Superman.
If you didn't really like Superman before, you're gonna fucking hate Superman now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he's a dick.
It's like really frustrating. Yeah, because it's just like I've gone on tirades, like, you know, when I had you guys go through All-Star Superman and stuff like that. Like, I've gone on tirades about how like Superman's supposed to be like the glowing beacon of fucking hope in our darkest hours, and it's just like especially now in today's social climate, we could use a little bit of levity, especially in a fucking superhero film. Yeah. And not like Marvel levity where it's like, we're gonna have an inappropriate joke while everyone's fucking getting their ass beat. But I just mean like a genuine nice dude trying to do genuine nice dude things and make people's lives better. But
this is also a post-Joker Batman, which is kind of important because you know how Batman doesn't really kill people? He doesn't really he doesn't really seem to have much of a problem with it in this one.
Yeah, I heard he just straight up murders some motherfuckers in this
film. I wouldn't say that he straight up murders anybody, but like he murders people in the same way that you quote unquote don't murder people in Arkham Knight. like running people over and fucking shooting them and stuff. Like,
Great.
yeah. But there's some stuff in it that's really good. Like, my favorite thing is right after we see the Batman origin story for the 18th time, it shows the end of Man of Steel from the perspective of Bruce Wayne in Metropolis as everything is being destroyed. And that is, like, my favorite part of the entire film, I think. Because it shows humanity when, if you saw Man of Steel, you saw the most ridiculous shit show in the world.
Yeah.
Like, that entire fight scene, it's like, why is Superman doing this? Like, why couldn't he take Zod somewhere else and not, like, destroy all of Metropolis? But it's nice to see consequence, which is something that I wish they had played with more. But there's a lot more in there, and Jesse Eisenberg is an amazing Lex Luthor. So he's no Kevin Spacey, don't get me wrong. But I actually really, really, really liked Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Like, second favorite thing.
I feel like you're like having a go at me and I'm not sure how to react.
I'm not. I thought he was really good. Like, it's clearly not the Lex Luthor of the comics. He says so. He is the son of that Lex Luthor, but his name is Alexander Luthor. So
Wait, really?
yeah.
Yeah. And that's not like an actual character in the comics, but there's like a reason why no one remembers him, because he was shit.
I think this one is pretty great. He might be a little too insane, but I like him a lot. So
Okay, we're gonna come back to this whenever I see this film, and
Sure.
so I'm just gonna quote this.
hey,
We'll have audio
if
evidence.
you don't like him, that's fine. Everybody I saw the movie with said they were surprised by two things in this film, and it was Jesse Eisenberg and Ben Affleck. So
Okay.
I stand by those statements. I would see it again too. Like, I enjoyed parts of it enough to want to watch it again. I did, however, spill popcorn all over myself at the very beginning of the film, and everybody around me laughed at me. And that kind of made the film less enjoyable.
Were girls watching when you did this?
There were some girls there.
Oh no.
Do we have you guys seen or read anything that we should talk about before moving into like news?
I started watching this fucking stupid anime called Seven Deadly Sins, and then I got 5 minutes into the first episode, and there was like a titty grab, and then I turned it off.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That is too bad.
Yeah.
I'm sick of titties in anime. We got to stop it.
I turned on, speaking of turning things off within the first 5 minutes, I turned on Netflix today to find a series called The Returned, which
no.
Yeah, which is a shot-for-shot almost English remake of Les Revenants, which I had challenged, I don't know, basically like years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad. Like, in the 5 minutes that I was watching it, I felt less attachment to the characters who were speaking English than I did for the characters who were speaking French in the original. And I don't condone it. Like, it's really bad. I'm probably going to keep watching it later, though.
Okay.
Just to see how far the rabbit hole goes.
And I'm really sorry for that, but I'm going to do it.
I really want to go and watch Le Revenant, but I just haven't gotten around to it. It's not been released in a way that's easily consumable on, like, I don't know. It's not on Netflix, I guess. And it's not on Hulu. And it's not on Amazon Prime.
Is it not on Netflix?
I'm pretty sure it's not. I'd be happy to be wrong. Let me check. You guys fill the dead air so that way I don't have to edit.
So, Levi, are you going to look for anything while in Hobbiton?
Beer, probably.
Okay.
I mean, that's legit. They apparently have some good shit there.
Yeah.
This is the 2015 version. God damn it. I typed in Revenant and it showed me The Return, but it was the 2015 version. Oh, wait. Is Camille the name of the girl in the English version too?
I don't know.
Not terribly helpful.
I'll keep you posted. I'll send you a link if there is one.
Okay.
Also, the music is terrible. Like,
well,
the original
nothing is
soundtrack
Mogwai.
Yeah, the original soundtrack by Mogwai was excellent, and I still listen to it like weekly. And it's really good.
Okay,
but
it is the French version. I am so excited that the French version is on Netflix. So
cool.
I'm gonna go watch that like soon.
Sweet.
After Daredevil and West Wing and everything else I'm watching right now.
Yeah, I still need to. I'm like finally I'm breaking my fucking superhero vow.
I mean,
consuming the media again. And
it's super good though.
I'm sure it is. And I mean, it's also like Nightwing's coming back in the comics. So I guess now's the time, if any, for me.
Right.
Superheroes can be good.
They can be. And that's why I hate them so much, because most of the times they aren't. And I recognize the potential there for greatness.
That's fair. So we got just a few news things. We won't go too deep into them, but so do you guys know the game Overwatch by Blizzard? It's TF2 meets Heroes and shit again.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a pose for like one of the female characters where it is the camera is focused on her back and she's looking over her shoulder. And the spandex on her butt makes her butt very visible. And so one guy on a forum post wrote up a big thing about how it was inappropriate and how she was billed as such a stronger character than more than just her sexuality, blah, blah, blah. He actually, he wrote, a bunch of, very, fine points. He made a reasonable enough argument for it being kind of inappropriate. But, there was, a 16-page thread on the, official Blizzard forums, and now they're removing that pose, which is by and far the least sexual pose in the entire game.
I'm looking at the pose right now. It's completely innocuous, aside from the fact that
you can see her butt.
The spandex conforms to her way in a way that no fabric known to man possibly could.
Right. Yes. Except for vacuum form vinyl or some shit.
Yeah.
Whatever crazy shit you're into, I guess.
If there's a suction device in her butthole sucking all the air out of her pants, that is the only way. And I'm sorry.
And by and far, there's a sniper girl that every picture of her that is on the internet is of her butt, and it is a lot more defined.
She has a lovingly crafted posterior.
And it's Capcom censored the Armika butt slap, and and I say censored, but they decided to change the visual direction of that, and that's fine. They're totally within their right to do it. I feel like Blizzard changing this one because it was too sexual is I don't know, man. It's all the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't look that way to me. It doesn't look like it should be construed that way.
Yeah. It's saying that women shouldn't have butts, I guess.
Well,
or the camera should never look at them.
Honestly, I think it's more of a, I don't think it's a problem, but I think it is more of along the lines of the actual model.
Right.
Why is it so bad to, I don't know, try and why, when everybody models a butt, is it two independent cheeks with fabric painted on instead of how a butt looks in fabric?
Yep. You can have a little indentation that says hey, here's where the butt crack is, but you don't say check out every single curve of that butt crack. Look at the apex of that curve of that butt crack. Yeah. Also design better characters.
Yeah.
She actually does seem like a pretty fucking cool character, because after I saw that, I was well, let me go see what else there is about this character. And, there were other poses that seemed worse, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And, she seemed like a pretty cool character. I don't know. It upsets me. It upsets me that, I don't know what stance to take on this. It seems like a bummer. It seems like they're making something out of nothing, and that them making the something out of nothing causes it to become something. Where do you guys stand on censorship in video games?
I think it's nice of Blizzard to try and sort of cater to their audience, but if somebody was forcing them to take something out of the game, I don't think that's at all okay.
And that doesn't seem like what's happening. It just sounds like a couple of unhappy customers causing a stink.
Yeah.
A butt stink.
A real big butt stink. Oh, boy.
I don't believe in the censorship of art, but I do believe in the censorship of fart.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Do you have any thoughts on the subject, Mike?
Man, there are people dying.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the idea that people are dying. Sorry.
I'm at this point where I'm just tired of constantly having this argument, because it actually came up in Dick Grayson's current comic, because he's constantly presented as a sex object in it because he's Dick fucking Grayson, and that's who he is. He's basically been designed to appeal to the female eye.
He's swoon-worthy, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at him. Women want to be with him, and men also want to be with him. He's sort of supposed to be Batman minus all the bullshit. And so there was a stink in his current ongoing comic where people he's always presented sexually, and it's just sort of
Yes. He is.
Yeah, man, like, I don't know, try being sex positive. Like, fucking,
Try being butt positive.
Yeah, man, it's just like, not everything is sexual. Like, sure, I'm sure the person who lovingly crafted, was it Tracer's butt? Is that the character that we're fucking losing our shit over? And
Tracer's over the shoulder.
Yeah, okay.
Pose.
I'm sure the person who crafted Tracer's ass and the fucking purple sniper chick whose name I don't care to remember, Ass McGee. I'm sure there was probably some lurid thoughts going through their brain while they were in ZBrush, Blender, or whatever the fuck they were using.
I don't even know if it's like lurid thoughts. Like, I've done some 3D modeling, some character modeling, and like the closest thing that I've gotten to like in that area is it's a butt. You know?
Okay, yeah, and it might even just be that, like, and I guess I just like. There are bigger issues in video games that we can, like, that we need to be talking about.
I mean, they know that Dead or Alive Extreme 3 exists, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to fucking raise your flag over something that's, like, literally the fucking problem, which is that game.
Yeah. I don't know hold on. I actually don't think that that's the problem. Because
if you're going to make a commentary about sexism in video games, that's the game to raise your flag against.
Yes.
Like, I don't like, and that's the thing. Like, I have a very black and white policy when it comes to censorship, and it's don't ever. Period. Like, just make your art and deal with the fucking consequences. But it's like, I just don't, like, it's one of those things where, like, I try not to care, but I do, because it's just like, I want to know what's going through these people's heads. Like, and not in like a derisive way or in like an argumentative way. Like, I genuinely want to like see what their thought process is, where they get so up in arms about something that's pretty innocuous and pretty like nothing, that leads them to the conclusions that they draw. Because it just like, maybe it's because like I'm just a 28-year-old white dude whose only like normative thing is that I'm bisexual, but I just don't see the fucking problem most of the time. Because like I've seen these same arguments made about like Bayonetta.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bruh, like come on. And so I guess for me, it's just, I don't know, man, like these companies are entitled to do what they want. And, if they're doing it of their own volition because they feel like, it'll better serve the fan base or it'll better serve the product, knock yourself out, fuck it. Like, it's your thing to do with what you will. But like, I don't know, maybe not everyone's out to get you. Maybe not everything's a fucking problem. And maybe you should save your energy to complain about something that's a little bit more valid, or that maybe you have a little bit, like, that would have a little bit more lasting effect on the overall cause that you're trying to champion. Because I get that these people are trying to come from a very good place, but it just seemed.
And if you're worried that like you don't want to support something that is over sexualizing to pander to you or to your demographic or to the audience that you consider yourself to be part of, don't buy the thing. Use your dollars to vote, and just don't buy the thing.
You can vote with your wallet. Yeah, I don't know. See, they're removing a single pose from the game, but with Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, like, it's not coming to the States anymore because this is specifically something that they were afraid of.
Yeah, except that you can jump on Amazon.co.jp and get free shipping to America, and it's in English, so who fucking cares?
Yeah,
I know,
but I was like, fucking.
Yes.
Tecmo Koei not releasing that game is like, it's too fucking late.
Tecmo Koei did not say, hey, we're not releasing Dead or Alive Extreme Beach 3 because we're afraid of social justice warriors in America. They said, hey, the sales figures for 1 and 2 fucking sucked, and we will lose money if we localize this game. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a social stance. It wasn't fear. It was, this doesn't make any fucking business sense to sell this game in a country that doesn't want this game. And like the few people that do can buy it.
Yeah. But I guess ultimately it's like, man, do what you want. But like, I don't know, if you're going to fucking rail against something, I don't know, maybe maybe give it more than just a little thought, or like maybe like look at it in the grander scheme of things.
Pick your battles is what you're saying.
Yeah, like pick your battle. Like not everything needs to be like, I don't know, man.
Not everything is a hill to die on.
Yeah, like I'm bisexual, and you want to talk about some fucked up shit? Look at bisexual representation in the media.
Yeah.
Everyone's a slut. Everyone's a fucking, like, terrible person. You know, they're all terrible people. They're all sluts. They're all, like, people that either end up straight or, like, straight or gay. Like, they're never allowed to just be what they are. But, like, I'm not fucking railing against every, representation of that in the media because, like, look, I get it. People are fucking stupid. But, like, I guess educate, don't attack.
Yeah.
That's my little fucking soapbox for this week.
I agree.
Pick your battles, be nice, love each other, and fucking educate. Don't be a shitty person. And if like there's a piece of art that you don't like that you find problematic, vote with your fucking wallet. And maybe if you're going to approach the creators, approach them in a sane, stable, human way, and open a dialogue for conversation. And don't be a fucking like accusing piece of shit about it, because you'd be surprised at how many people are just well-meaning idiots and just don't know better because it's not a part of their life.
Let's go on and move to a less controversial topic. Let's talk about Konami for like just a second.
No controversy here. I mean,
Konami is the worst, and everybody who works at Konami should die.
No, that's fair, because Konami is like guilt-free hatred.
So they're making another video game.
Sure,
kind of.
I'm looking at this list.
That's a novel thing for them.
Well, they're not a video game company
another
anymore.
pachinko machine.
It's not. It's an actual video game, except it's one they've made before, and they're having a Chinese company called Tencent make it, and it's the original Contra being remade as a free-to-play 3D side scroller for mobile, with cooldown timers on weapons, a player versus player mode, and while they haven't explained what they will be, they have certainly confirmed that microtransactions are up in the mix.
Good old Konami.
Oh boy.
I will say this, if they just took the visuals that they did and they just decided to make like a 1-to-1 remake of the game with those graphics in the trailer that's been posted, it's pretty baller. Like I'm for it. It's just that it's a Chinese made free-to-play game for mobile. And it's Contra.
Man, it's just like I want to know what those Konami like investor meetings are like.
I mean, it was a dev from China who came to them. It was somebody at Tencent was like, "Hey, you guys still have that Contra license, right?" They're like, Konami is like, "Yeah, we sit on all of our licenses. We have everything. We've got Bomberman. I don't even know what the fuck a Bomberman is." Like, yeah. And they're like, "Okay, well, can I make this game for you?"
Yeah, it's Konami's like, there's something caught my ass. I think it's Zone of the what? I don't know what the fuck this is. Like,
flush it.
Yeah, just flush it down the toilet. I'm done with it.
Oh man. So yeah. I saw that and I saw the trailer and I was really conflicted because I'm like, well, I don't really trust Konami anymore, and I certainly don't trust Tencent, and I certainly don't trust the idea of cooldown timers in fucking Contra.
Ugh.
Or free to play Contra, but like, visually, like level to level, like they're really, really true to the source material.
I'm sure there's like Tencent probably has some good ideas there, but like much like a Zack Snyder film, they're probably going to be ruined by some like superfluous bullshit.
I bet Konami has the fish license.
Oh no! But what if I want the fish license?
You can't have it. Do you want Voltron?
Not like. I'm going to go on another tirade during this section. Fuck it, I've got two in me today.
All right.
Okay.
Netflix is rebooting Voltron. A Japanese series being rebooted by an American company. Voltron, Netflix, trailers up. Mike, go.
Stop fucking rebooting shit from the 70s and 80s. Just fucking stop. Like, come on. How devoid of fucking originality do you have to be? Like...
I mean, we just got Batman v Superman, which isn't exactly like new.
No, well, that's my point. Like, why has Bruce Wayne still been Batman for the fucking past 75 goddamn years when the best thing to happen to the character was putting Dick Grayson in the fucking mask? Like,
have you seen the Flashpoint stuff?
I've read the comics.
Are they good? I've been hearing good things.
And I might get crucified for this. The overarching narrative is garbage because it's literally editorial mandate the reboot event. because it was the last super event before New 52. A lot of these side stories that came out of it were actually pretty all right because it showed the characters in lights that we hadn't seen them. Like, for example, the big one was like, what if during that fateful night when in Crime Alley, a man held up the Waynes at gunpoint, Bruce Wayne died instead, and Thomas and Martha lived.
Oh, yeah. But don't they make, like, Martha the Joker and...
Yes, and like it's not like it's a very stupid comic booky story, but it's written well and is presented in a very, kind of human, honest light of like these two parents have lost their child and they have become broken because of it. And it's an interesting story. Is it something that would last like an entire, production run of an ongoing series? No, but it makes for a great one-off.
Also, I'm tired of everything having to be stretched out into a full production run. Like, I'm cool with one-shots, like really well done one-shots. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and like... I'm kind of getting to that point myself, but I think it's just because like I'm so tired of like the ongoing canon not mattering. I'm so fucking tired that at the end of every fucking story arc, the status quo's got to be reestablished and everything's got to go back to being the same. And man, pro wrestling has more evolution than fucking comic books.
That's one of my biggest gripes is that there's all these different universes and different like storylines within one thing, but then like none of it's ever like used or incorporated into like, like Spider-Man changes hands every once in a while, but like Doc Ock kills Spider-Man and then becomes Spider-Man, and then Peter Parker does something like comes back from the dead and re-inhabits his own body or something.
Yeah, I mean, you basically nailed it.
Yeah, like it's long and convoluted and stuff like that. But like, that was one of the reasons I really liked Rick and Morty season 2 was that like the last episode, like stuff changes and it changes like drastically for the entire world.
Yeah.
Yes, but I wonder if that's just gonna kind of get resolved in the first or second episode of the next season. Like, I hope not. I hope that like it does permanently change things.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and it's just like, man, how fucking rad would it be that like when Bruce Wayne died and Dick Grayson took over the cowl, if he had like actually died and like that was it and we were not gonna have Bruce Wayne anymore. And when people like 20 years from now are like, wait, what do you mean Dick Grayson's Batman? You're just like, oh man, here's this fucking rad story where Bruce Wayne fucking died saving the entire goddamn multiverse from Darkseid. It was radical. And it was like a really good way to send the character out because it sent him out on a really triumphant moment of a man conquering a god. And now we have Dick Grayson in the cowl, and it's this really neat thing, and it's super different because like Dick Grayson's lighthearted and plucky, and his Robin, Damian, who's Bruce Wayne's kid, is like this really dour, serious one. So it's this really neat role reversal of the Batman and Robin tropes, and like you would be able to tell these really great, new, interesting stories. But you know what? Fuck me, man. We gotta have Bruce Wayne so we can make billions of fucking dollars. Comic books are stupid and don't read them.
Nobody ever read them, ever.
Stop. Like, straight, like, you know what you should do every time you go into a comic book shop and you see a Batman comic? Go to the indie comic section and buy something else instead, because I can guarantee you the same writers are probably working on a book they love way more than their fucking paycheck book, and it's going to be way more gratifying, because things are going to happen that matter, and there will be consequences. And if someone dies, unless the fucking entire plot's about getting them back, they're probably going to fucking be dead for good. And this is going to tie back to my original point of stop fucking rebooting shit. I don't need a new Ghostbusters movie. I don't need a new fucking RoboCop movie. I don't need a new Total Recall movie. I don't need a new fucking Voltron series. Like, the limits of human imagination are endless.
Yeah, but did you see that Point Break remake, though?
Nah.
Yeah, me neither.
all right, last thing on the list, very last thing. There have been a ridiculous number of reports from lots of different places saying that Sony is going to be releasing a new PlayStation 4 that is more powerful than the current PlayStation 4, and right now it is being codenamed PlayStation 4K, as it can output games and movies at 4K resolution.
Has there, and this is, obviously a lot of this shit is just speculatory, but have there been any speculatory specifications that have been leaked yet?
None whatsoever, other than it's gonna be good. Gonna be real powerful.
Right.
Real high def.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sort of curious.
The Wall Street Journal picked up this story and ran with it, so it seems kind of legit. And like the timeline of it is them announcing and maybe releasing, but before the PlayStation VR is released.
Right. Because I'm just curious if this is going to be sort of like the mold where Sony's going to start releasing like updated versions of consoles to sort of like...
I think we're going to start getting at least, maybe not yearly, but semi-annual console releases. I think we're going to see a new Xbox One next year or maybe this year.
I mean, Xbox One is sort of planning the same thing where it's like there'll be upgrades to current existing
Well, Phil Spencer
hardware.
like triple backed on that one. He's like, well, I mean, it's something we're talking about, not doing.
He said, I'm not going to ship a screwdriver with every console that we ship, but I think it's a definite possibility, you know?
I think the issue is that right now, if you're somebody who's like, all right, well, I've played all of my games on my 360 and my PS3, I think it's finally time for me to upgrade and get a new system. Wait, what's that? If I buy anything right now, it's going to be garbage because they're going to release a new Nintendo system in 16 minutes? Like, nobody should be buying anything right now because E3 is going to probably play announcements for everything. And, like, there's just too much Hufflepuff about all of it, you know?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, in this era of, like, very limited console exclusives, and where even console exclusives, barring Nintendo products, are starting to come out on PC... like, getting a decent gaming PC is not that expensive when you look at like the grander scheme of things, and the fact that you're going to be using that PC for like other life shit. Like my current rig, like my tower cost me about $1,000. It's not a bad rig. Like it could be, you know, obviously I'm not like chugging dual 980 Ti's with like 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, but like I've got 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM and a 960, and it's eating everything I throw at it alive.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, so like, fuck it, I'm still probably going to be running Dark Souls 3 at like close to max settings, and that's good enough for me. So with this and like the potential of the Xbox One, it's just sort of like, well, why not just get a computer at that point?
Yeah, and they talked a little bit about it. Like, we've got Killer Instinct coming to PC with like all the new characters and stuff, and like Season 3 is happening there. You've got Quantum Break, which is also coming out there. Like, we're starting to see the Xbox One exclusives bleed over to Windows 10. And what's to say that like an Xbox marketplace doesn't pop up on Windows 10 anyways? Like hardware wise, Windows PCs and Xbox Ones are not particularly difficult or different from one another.
Right.
So it may be...
shit, we're even seeing Sony exclusives, like Street Fighter V is on PC.
Right. I don't know.
You
like,
know, so...
So the Oculus Rift launched today. Like today was the first day that it was for sale, and it launched with a total, I think, of 45 games. And like, I think it was 28 of them were exclusive, and of those 28, 23 were brand new IPs. And like,
okay,
there are exclusives on the Oculus Rift on PC that won't be available on the Vive, and the Vive is going to have exclusives that the Oculus won't have. We have more virtual reality bullshit exclusive games than we do on our Xbox and PlayStation 4 right now. And that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was one of those things where initially I was like, well, it's the first couple years of a console slide. But like, man, it's like 3 months into 2016, and there's...
Right now,
like, seriously.
Yeah, what are you excited for right now? Like any game that is exclusive to PS4 or Xbox One.
Uncharted is the only one, and it's not even like I'm not even excited for me. I'm excited for how excited Caroline's going to be when that game comes out. My PS4 library right now of games consists of I traded in MGS5. Fuck, I don't even have that anymore.
And not even an exclusive, so...
Not even an exclusive, yeah. Of Street Fighter, Bloodborne, and The Witcher 3, because I didn't have a PC that could run it at the time.
The only one of those, of course, is Bloodborne that's exclusive to that system.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I mean, like, looking forward, like, Uncharted 4 is the only one I can even think of.
Like, I would get excited for Last Guardian, but, like, not Last Guardian,
Yeah, that's not a game that's coming out.
Yeah, Last Guardian. Sorry.
Yeah, Last Guardian.
That's like... I'm gonna die before that game comes out. Yeah. So, like, you know, I'll be excited for that game when I'm 85 in the fucking old folks' home, talking to, like, someone I don't know because I've got Alzheimer's, being like, remember that game?
And for Xbox, it's like, Crackdown will probably be okay. Halo 6 I'll buy. And,
oh, gosh. You know what? I probably won't buy Halo 6.
That's cool. We got review copies last time. I think that's probably what'll happen this time. There's Scalebound. That could be okay.
Sure, maybe.
That's like the one game that could get me to buy a fucking Xbox One.
Yeah, it's a platinum game, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a platinum game, and it's being directed by Kamiya, so...
Yeah, so beyond that, I can't think of a single other, like, Xbox exclusive.
Wait, no, what was that game on PS4 that was about like hunting the robot dinosaurs in like the fucking Nomad post-apocalypse?
You're talking about Turok? They did just announce Turok. The Turok remaster. For
fuck that.
The original Turok 1 and 2 are coming to Xbox One.
It was at the
wonderful news, but
yeah, they had like a tech demo for it at E3 with like the chick
Horizon, yeah, that looks awesome. We take it back. Everything.
Who's developing that game?
The Sony Santa Monica? No, the guys that did Killzone.
Okay, so
and like
Guerrilla Games?
Yeah, everything I've heard about that is outstanding.
Yeah, so like but still, like I had to stretch for 2.
Yeah.
That like have a realistic chance of coming out because I'll believe Last Guardian's out when I have it in my fucking hands.
Yeah, the games that I'm more excited for right now are remasters. Like we're talking, I assume Demon Souls is happening because they'd be idiots not to.
It's
Rez, like I'm very excited for Rez and the one new level they're adding to it.
Yeah.
And I'm still praying for Shadow of the Colossus on PS4. Like it's fucked that those are the things I'm most excited for on that system.
No, absolutely. And like the only reason I think I would doubt a Demon Souls re-up is that like man, because I'm playing through it right now. Whew, that game's rough in some places.
Dude, they've released rough games like Gravity Rush remastered.
No, I know, but like there are certain models that straight up look like mid-gen PS2 models if you are to upscale them.
I think if you upscale them and throw some anti-aliasing on them and like some bilinear filtering on the textures and stuff, like it'll be fine. It'll look all right.
I mean, that's fair. Like I'm playing the game. I still love the game enough to keep playing it, so that's legit.
And yeah, I mean, like,
I'd buy it again.
In a world where we got a Twilight Princess HD remake, like I think they could probably upscale some of the textures and clean them up.
You know what? Yeah, that's fair. Especially with Miyazaki being president of the company right now.
Yeah. Like, I think it is more likely, or I think it's less likely that we won't see a Demon Souls remake or remaster.
Yeah.
Oh, video games.
Video games.
Levi, we'll miss you.
Thanks.
Take lots of pictures, or don't. It's your life. You know, you're going to die one day, so live your life how you want to.
Take pictures after you've appreciated the thing in front of you.
Yeah, I will. I bought this thing that like it's a Velcro system that goes onto one of your backpack straps, and it's like a holster for a DSLR. So I'm like quick draw McGraw with a
Really?
camera.
That's interesting.
That's actually kind of neat.
It's pretty cool. I frequented a lot of hiking like forums and asked what the best digital photography solutions were. So
You'll have to hit me with that for my trip back to Japan, because that was one of my biggest things. Like I hated like pulling out the DSLR and stuff.
Oh yeah, like it's on you. Like we've got a Camelback that we're gonna carry, and it'll latch onto that, and it just sits there, and it's like 3 or 4 inches from like the ready position at your face. So
Man, that's cool.
yeah.
All right, so that has been this episode of the Bancast. I'm not sure what episode it is, but it doesn't really matter. I think 139. You can write into us at thebandcast@gmail.com or at thebandcast.com/ask if you don't want to have your contact information in front of us. You can also subscribe to us and review us on iTunes, and that would really help us out. It helps us gain new subscribers, and new subscribers means more interactivity, which means more content for us to work with, so better show. And if you don't like all those wishy-washy ways of getting people to hopefully stumble upon the show, the best way to get it is to just tell someone about the show. I feel like this is a pretty good episode to get people on board with. Feel pretty good about how we did. How about you guys?
We took it a little bit more seriously than usual.
Crushed it.
Yeah, crushing it.
So I guess, do you know anything about Jack? Have you heard of this Jack guy? This Jack fella?
Yes, Jack the human.
Jack, he had a valid point. He said, Facebook needs to remove likes from user timelines. No one wants to see the insane bullshit that I like. This coupled with algorithmic timelines, it's like they're trying to discourage subscriber engagement, which I kind of agree with. Like, I don't know about the algorithmic stuff, but Jack likes some insane bullshit.
Yeah. Jack does like some inane bullshit. I mean, insane bullshit.
Well, that too. I think both of those things.
Good night, Jack.
Good night, Jack.
Good night, Jack.
See, wherever human beings have been around, you see rectangles and straight lines, because we're always trying to straighten things out. And so that's the very mark of our presence. I don't know why we do it. It's always been a puzzle to me